Marcus Kane woke up without the scar. He'd gone to bed with a 3-inch gash across his forearm. Glass from the bar fight. Some drunk had thrown a bottle. Marcus had raised his arm to protect his face. The bottle shattered. Blood everywhere. The ear doc had used 17 stitches to close it. That was 8 hours ago. Now the scar was gone. Not faded. Not healing. Gone. Like it had never existed. Marcus sat up in bed and stared at his arm. Ran his fingers over smooth skin. No stitches. No wound. No evidence that anything had happened except the dried blood on his sheets. He stumbled to the bathroom and looked in the mirror. The black eye was gone too. So was the split lip. The bruised ribs that had made breathing painful yesterday felt fine. Better than fine. Like they'd never been injured. Marcus lifted his shirt. His torso was unmarked. No bruising. No swelling. Nothing. What the fuck, he whispered. Marcus spent the morning trying to rationalize it. Maybe the injury hadn't been as bad as he thought. Maybe the doctor had exaggerated. Maybe the alcohol had made him misremember. Except he had photos. He'd taken pictures at the ER for the police report. The gash had been deep. Documented. He pulled up the photos on his phone. There was. His arm split open. Blood. Exposed tissue. The stitches clearly visible in the aftershots. Marcus looked at his arm again. Nothing. He called the ER. This is Marcus Kane. I was treated last night for lacerations. I need to speak with the doctor who stitched me up. The nurse put him on hold. 3 minutes later, a tired voice came on the line. Mr. Kane. Dr. Patel. Is there a problem with your sutures? They're gone. I'm sorry. The stitches. The wound. Everything. It's gone. Like it never happened. Silence on the other end. Then, Mr. Kane, are you sure you're looking at the correct arm? I'm looking at the photos you took. Then I'm looking at my arm. There's nothing there. That's not possible. I closed a significant laceration last night. You should still have visible sutures for at least another week. Well, I don't. More silence. Then, can you come in? I'd like to examine you. Marcus went. Dr. Patel stared at Marcus's arm for 5 full minutes. She touched the skin, checked for scarring, looked at the photos, looked at Marcus, looked at the photos again. This doesn't make sense, she said finally. Yeah. I noticed. The laceration was deep. I documented it. There are photos. Hospital records. But your arm is. She trailed off. Have you ever experienced accelerated healing before? No. Any family history of unusual medical conditions? Not that I know of. Dr. Patel made notes. Asked more questions. Took blood samples. Ran tests. Everything came back normal. CBC, metabolic panel, inflammatory markers. All within standard ranges. I want to refer you to a specialist, she said. This could be a previously undocumented condition. Something genetic. We should monitor it. Marcus nodded. Took the referral. Didn't mention that he had no intention of following up. Because he'd already figured it out. The injury had healed while he was asleep. Marcus tested it that night. Not with anything major. He wasn't stupid. Just a small cut on his finger. Kitchen knife. Shallow. Maybe a 1/4 inch. He bandaged it. Went to bed. Set an alarm for 4 hours. When the alarm went off, Marcus checked the cut. Still there. Still bleeding slightly. The bandage was soaked. He went back to sleep. Set another alarm for 4 more hours. This time when he woke up, the cut was gone. Complete regeneration. No scar. No trace. Marcus spent the next week running experiments. He learned the rules fast. The healing only happened during sleep. Not rest. Not meditation. Actual, deep sleep. REM cycle. He tested it by staying awake for 36 hours with various injuries. Nothing healed until he finally crashed. The healing was proportional to sleep duration. Minor cuts needed 4 to 6 hours. Deeper wounds needed 8 to 10. Broken bones, he'd tested with a hairline fracture in his hand, required 12 hours minimum. The healing was complete. No scarring. No residual pain. His body reset to baseline as if the injury never occurred. And the healing had limits. He'd tried staying awake with a significant burn on his palm. After 48 hours without sleep, the burn got infected. His body couldn't heal what it couldn't reach. Sleep was mandatory. Marcus realized what this meant. He could survive almost anything, as long as he could sleep afterward. Marcus Kane was 29 years old. He'd spent the last decade bouncing between jobs. Security guard, warehouse worker, bartender, construction. The kind of work that paid cash and didn't ask questions. He'd grown up in foster care. No family, no connections, no safety net. The ability didn't change his circumstances, but it changed his options. Marcus started taking risks he wouldn't have before. He picked up work as an unlicensed bouncer at clubs that operated in legal gray areas. The kind of places where fights were common and nobody called the cops. He got hit. A lot. Fists. Bottles. Just one memorable night, a broken pool cue to the ribs. It didn't matter. He'd go home. Sleep. Wake up fine. The club owners noticed. Marcus became the guy they called when things got ugly. The guy who could take punishment and keep going. They paid well. Cash. Under the table. Marcus wasn't proud of it. But he needed money. Needed stability. And the ability gave him an edge nobody else had. For 6 months, it worked. Then he met Victor Crane. Crane owned 3 clubs in Brooklyn. The profitable kind. The kind that laundered money and moved product and paid protection to people you didn't say no to. He'd heard about Marcus. The bouncer who never stayed down. Who took hits that should have hospitalized him and showed up the next night looking fine. Crane offered Marcus a job. "I need someone reliable," Crane said. They were in his office. Expensive furniture. Expensive suit. The kind of money that came from doing things the law didn't approve of. Someone who can handle problems. Physical problems. "I'm not a hitman," Marcus said. "I'm not asking you to kill anyone. I'm asking you to convince people to make better decisions. Violently if necessary. That's assault. That's persuasion. And you're good at it. I've seen the footage. You take hits that should break bones and you keep going. That's useful." Marcus should have said no. Should have walked out. Should have kept his head down and his morals intact. But Crane was offering $5,000 a week. $5,000 a week was the difference between surviving and actually living. Marcus said yes. The work was exactly what he'd expected. Debt collection. Intimidation. Enforcement. The kind of jobs where you showed up, made your presence known, and people suddenly remembered they owed money or needed to keep their mouths shut. Marcus hated it, but he was good at it, because the ability meant he could be reckless. Could take hits that would cripple normal people. Could walk into situations where the odds were bad and come out the other side. One job involved collecting from a guy who'd borrowed $50,000 and disappeared. Marcus found him in Queens. The guy had 3 friends with him, all armed. The fight lasted maybe 2 minutes. Marcus took a knife to the shoulder, a baseball bat to the knee, multiple punches to the face. He kept going, took the guy down, collected the money, drove home with blood soaking through his jacket and his knee screaming. Slept 12 hours. Woke up fine. Crane was impressed. Started giving Marcus harder jobs. Higher pay. More violence. Marcus told himself he was just doing what he had to do. That the people he hurt were criminals anyway. That this was survival. He was lying. The truth was simpler and darker. The ability had made him dangerous. And being dangerous paid better than being good. The turning point came on a Wednesday. Crane sent Marcus to a warehouse in Red Hook. Standard collection job. Some dealer had been skimming product. Needed to be reminded who he worked for. Marcus arrived at midnight. The warehouse was dark. Quiet. Too quiet. He should have left. Should have trusted his instincts. Instead, he went inside. The dealer was there, along with 8 other guys. All armed. All waiting. Crane thinks he can send one guy, the dealer said. He was young. Maybe 25. Trying too hard to look tough. He's getting sloppy. Marcus assessed the situation. 9 on 1. Multiple firearms. No cover. Bad odds even with the healing factor. "I'm just here to talk," Marcus said. "No. You're here to get a message back to Crane. We're done working for him. Done taking his shit. You tell him this territory is ours now." One of the guys moved behind Marcus. Cut off the exit. Marcus's hand went to the knife in his jacket. "This doesn't have to get ugly." "Yeah, it does." They came at him all at once. Marcus fought like a cornered animal. He'd been in bad fights before. But this was different. This was organized. Coordinated. They weren't trying to hurt him. They were trying to kill him. Marcus took a tire iron to the head. Went down. Got back up. Took a knife to the gut. Kept fighting. Took a gunshot to the shoulder. That one dropped him. He lay on the concrete, bleeding, his vision swimming. He could hear them talking. Laughing. They thought he was done. He wasn't. Marcus forced himself to his feet. His body was screaming. Multiple stab wounds. The gunshot. Broken ribs. Maybe a collapsed lung. He had maybe 30 seconds before he passed out from blood loss. He used them. Grabbed the nearest guy. Used him as a shield. Took his gun. Fired twice. 2 down. The others scattered. Marcus stumbled toward the exit. Made it to his car. Drove 3 blocks before he had to pull over. He was dying. He could feel it. His heart was struggling. His lungs were filling with blood. He reclined the seat, closed his eyes, and slept. Marcus woke up 16 hours later. His car was parked in an alley. Morning sun streaming through the windshield. His clothes were soaked with dried blood, but his body was fine. No gunshot wound. No stab wounds. No broken ribs. His phone had 43 missed calls from Crane. Marcus didn't call back. He drove to a motel. Paid cash. Locked the door. Sat on the bed and stared at the wall. He'd almost died. Should have died. Would have died if not for the ability. But the ability only worked if he could sleep. And you couldn't sleep if you were dead. Marcus had been treating the healing like invincibility. Like he couldn't be killed as long as he made it home. But he'd been wrong. If those guys had kept going. If they'd made sure he was dead. If they'd burned the body or dumped it in the river. The healing wouldn't have mattered. Because you can't heal if you're dead. Marcus quit the next day. He didn't explain. Didn't negotiate. Just sent Crane a text, "I'm out." Crane called. Marcus didn't answer. Crane sent people to his apartment. Marcus was already gone. He moved to Philadelphia. Different city. Different name. Got a job doing construction. Legal work. Boring work. Work where the worst injury was a splinter or a minor cut. He kept his head down. Didn't tell anyone about the ability. Didn't take risks. For 3 months, Marcus existed in relative peace. Then he met Sarah. Sarah Chen was a paramedic. Smart. Funny. Had the kind of dark humor that came from years of seeing people at their worst. She came into the coffee shop where Marcus was reading and sat down next to him without asking. "You're new," she said. "Excuse me?" "To the neighborhood. I recognize everyone on this block." "You're new." Marcus closed his book. "That a problem?" "Depends. You trouble?" "Trying not to be." Sarah smiled. "Good answer." They talked for an hour. Marcus found himself relaxing in a way he hadn't since the ability manifested. Sarah was easy to talk to. Didn't pry. Didn't judge. They started dating 2 weeks later. Marcus didn't tell her about the healing. Didn't see the point. He wasn't taking risks anymore. Wasn't putting himself in situations where he'd get hurt. The ability was dormant. And used. Just a strange quirk of his biology that didn't affect his daily life. Then Sarah's ex-boyfriend showed up. His name was Derek. History of domestic violence. Sarah had left him 8 months ago. Got a restraining order. Changed her number. Moved to a different neighborhood. But Derek found her anyway. Marcus was at Sarah's apartment when Derek kicked in the door. "You think you can just leave?" Derek was drunk. Angry. Holding a knife. "You think you can replace me?" Sarah backed away. "Derek, leave. Right now." "Not until we talk." Marcus stepped between them. She said leave. Derek looked at Marcus. Really looked. Saw someone smaller. Weaker. Not a threat. "Move." "No." Derek lunged. The knife caught Marcus in the side. Sharp pain. Hot blood. Marcus stumbled back but didn't go down. He grabbed Derek's wrist. Twisted. The knife clattered to the floor. Derek threw a punch. Caught Marcus in the jaw. Marcus punched back. Harder. Derek went down. Sarah was on the phone with 911. Marcus stood over Derek, bleeding, his vision swimming. The cops arrived 5 minutes later. Arrested Derek. Paramedics checked Marcus and Sarah. Marcus had a 4-inch stab wound in his side. The paramedic wanted to call an ambulance. "I'm fine," Marcus said. "Sir, you need medical attention. I'll go to the ER myself." He didn't go to the ER. He went home, bandaged the wound, went to sleep, woke up healed. Sarah showed up at his apartment the next morning. "Let me see it," she said. "See what?" "The stab wound." "I'm a paramedic, Marcus. I know what a knife injury looks like. That should need surgery. Let me see it." Marcus hesitated, then lifted his shirt. The wound was gone. Just smooth skin. Sarah stared. "What the fuck?" "I can explain. You were stabbed. I saw it. There was blood everywhere. Now there's nothing. I heal. When I sleep. Complete regeneration. I've had the ability for about a year." Sarah sat down slowly. "You're serious?" "Yeah." "Show me." Marcus grabbed a kitchen knife. Cut his palm. Shallow but visible. Showed Sarah the blood. Then he lay down on the couch. "Give me 4 hours." Sarah stayed. Checked his pulse. Took photos. When Marcus woke up, the cut was gone. "Holy shit," she whispered. "Yeah. Why didn't you tell me?" "Because I don't use it anymore. I'm not that guy. I'm trying to be normal." Sarah looked at him. Really looked. "What were you before?" Marcus told her. All of it. The bar fight. The testing. The bouncer work. Victor Crane. The warehouse. The 9 guys who tried to kill him. When he finished, Sarah was quiet for a long time. Then she said, "You were an enforcer." "I was surviving. By hurting people." "Yeah. And now? Now I'm trying to be better. Trying to use the ability for nothing. Just exist. Be normal." Sarah stood up. "I need to think." She left. Marcus didn't hear from her for 3 days. When Sarah finally called, her voice was careful. Measured. "I've been thinking about what you said. About the ability. About your past. And I don't like what you did. But I understand why you did it. Survival makes people do things they're not proud of. So what does that mean?" "It means I'm willing to give this a chance. But I need you to promise me something." "What?" "That you'll never use the ability like that again. That you're done with the violence. That you're actually trying to be better." "I promise." "Okay." They stayed together. Carefully at first. Then more seriously. Sarah moved in 6 months later. They talked about getting married. About having kids. About building something normal and stable and good. Marcus kept his promise. Didn't take risks. Didn't put himself in situations where he'd get hurt. The ability sat dormant, unused, a strange fact of his biology that had no impact on his daily life. Until the accident. It happened on a Saturday. Marcus and Sarah were driving to her parents' house for dinner. Highway. Light traffic. Marcus was in the passenger seat when the semi-truck crossed the center line. He saw it coming. Had maybe 1 second to react. Not enough time. The truck hit them head-on. Marcus woke up in a hospital bed. His whole body hurt. His head was pounding. His chest felt like someone had driven a truck through it. Which made sense because someone had. A doctor came in. Explained the situation. Multiple fractures. Internal bleeding. Collapsed lung. Severe concussion. They'd done emergency surgery. He was lucky to be alive. "Where's Sarah?" Marcus asked. The doctor's expression changed. "I'm sorry. She didn't make it. She died at the scene." The words didn't register at first. Didn't make sense. Sarah was a paramedic. She knew how to survive. She was trained for this. "No," Marcus said. "Check again." "You're wrong. Mr. Kane." Again. The doctor left. Came back with a nurse. They explained again. Sarah Chin died on impact. They tried to resuscitate her, but the injuries were too severe. She was gone. Marcus lay in the bed, staring at the ceiling, his mind refusing to process what they were saying. Sarah was dead, and he was alive, because his body could heal anything, as long as he could sleep. Marcus stayed in the hospital for 2 weeks. His injuries healed faster than the doctors expected. They called it remarkable, miraculous. Talked about writing a paper. Marcus didn't tell them the truth. Every night, when the nurses left and the ward went quiet, Marcus would sleep. And his body would repair itself. Bones knitting back together. Internal injuries closing. Concussion symptoms fading. By the end of week 2, he was discharged. The doctors said he needed months of physical therapy. Said he'd likely have chronic pain. Said he was lucky to walk. Marcus walked out of the hospital without a limp. He went to Sarah's funeral, stood in the back, listened to her family talk about how vibrant she was, how alive, how much she cared about helping people. Then he went home to the apartment they'd shared, and realized the ability had saved him, but it couldn't save her. He could survive anything, as long as he could sleep afterward. But Sarah couldn't, and that made the ability feel less like a gift and more like a curse. Marcus spent 6 months in a fog. He quit his job, stopped answering calls, existed in the apartment surrounded by Sarah's things, unable to process the fact that she was gone and he was still here. The ability felt like mockery. He'd survived a head-on collision that should have killed him, walked away from injuries that should have left him paralyzed, healed completely while Sarah died instantly. He started taking risks again. Not for money, not for survival, just to feel something. He'd walk through bad neighborhoods at night, hope someone would try something, get into fights, take hits, go home, sleep, wake up fine. But feeling fine physically didn't touch the emptiness inside. One night, Marcus stood on the roof of his building, 6 stories up, concrete below. He wondered if the healing had limits. If he fell, if he hit the ground, would his body repair a completely shattered spine? A crushed skull? Would he wake up dead? Or would he wake up healed? He stood there for an hour, trying to decide if he wanted to find out. Then his phone rang. A known number. Marcus almost didn't answer. "Mr. Kane. My name is Agent Wilson. FBI. I need to speak with you about an incident 18 months ago in Brooklyn. A warehouse. 9 men. You were there." Marcus's blood went cold. "I don't know what you're talking about." "Yes, you do. We've been tracking you since then. Your remarkable recovery from injuries that should have been fatal. Your ability to heal. We know what you are. What do you want?" "To offer you a choice. Work with us. Use your ability to help people. Or spend the rest of your life looking over your shoulder while we monitor you as a potential security threat." That's not a choice. That's coercion. That's reality. You have an ability. We have a program. It's a good fit. Marcus hung up. But Wilson called back. Every day for a week. Same offer. Same threat. Finally, Marcus answered. "What kind of work?" "Dangerous work. The kind where people usually die. But you don't have to worry about that. As long as you can sleep afterward." Marcus joined the close call unit 3 months later. It was the same program Derek Chin and Ethan Cross had worked with. Minimal expressions. People with narrow abilities trying to prevent the worst outcomes. Marcus's role was simple. Take hits that would kill normal people. Walk into situations where injury was guaranteed. Survive long enough to complete the mission. Then go home. He ran 27 missions in the first year. Hostage situations where he took bullets meant for civilians. Bomb threats where he manually disarmed devices that detonated in his hands. Building collapses where he held up debris while others escaped. Each time, he'd finish the mission, go home, and sleep. Wake up healed. Each time, he'd remember that Sarah couldn't do the same. The work became his penance. His way of making sense of surviving when she hadn't. If he couldn't save her, at least he could save others. But the cost was adding up. Not physically. Marcus's body was fine. Better than fine. Healthier than it had been in years because the constant sleep cycles kept him in peak condition. But mentally, he was deteriorating. Because every injury was a reminder that his body would fix itself, but his mind wouldn't. Every mission where he survived was a mission where Sarah stayed dead. And no amount of sleep could heal that. The breaking point came during a mission in Newark. Factory fire. 12 people trapped. The structure was collapsing. Local fire department couldn't get close. Marcus went in. The heat was intense. Burning. He found 10 of the 12. Got them out. Went back for the last 2. The ceiling collapsed on him. Crushed his legs. Pinned him under burning rubble. He could feel his skin blistering. Could smell his own flesh burning. Could hear his bones breaking under the weight. He thought about Sarah. About the accident. About how she died instantly while he'd survived. And he thought about just staying here. Under the rubble. Letting the fire finish the job. But then he heard crying. One of the trapped workers. Maybe 20 feet away. Still alive. Marcus pushed. Used every ounce of strength he had. Moved the rubble just enough to crawl free. His legs were shattered. Useless. He dragged himself toward the sound. Found the worker. A woman. Maybe 30. Leg trapped under a fallen beam. Marcus used his body as a lever. Lifted the beam. She crawled free. Looked at Marcus's legs and gasped. "Leave me," Marcus said. "Get out." "I can't." "Go." She went. Marcus lay there in the fire, his legs destroyed, his body burning, waiting for the end. Then the firefighters arrived. Dragged him out. Put him in an ambulance. He went to the hospital. Let them treat him. Let them put him in a medical coma for the surgeries. And when he woke up 3 days later, his legs were fine. The doctors were stunned. Called it impossible. Ran tests. Found nothing. Marcus checked himself out and went home. Slept for 20 hours straight. And woke up realizing he couldn't do this anymore. Marcus resigned from the close call unit 2 weeks later. Wilson tried to change his mind. Offered more money. Better support. Therapy. "You saved over 200 lives this year," Wilson said. "That matters." "Not to me," Marcus replied. "I can't save the one person who mattered. The rest is just noise." He moved to Oregon. Small town. Quiet. Got a job at a lumber mill. Dangerous work, but the kind where the worst injury was a lost finger or a broken bone. The ability sat there and used except for minor workplace accidents. Marcus existed. Didn't live. Just went through the motions of being alive while feeling dead inside. He thought about Sarah every day. About the accident. About how the ability that saved him couldn't save her. About how being able to heal anything didn't matter when the thing that was broken was your will to keep going. Marcus Kane is 33 now. 4 years since the ability manifested. 3 years since Sarah died. 2 years since he left the close call unit. He still heals. Every night. His body repairing damage he barely notices anymore. He works. Eats. Sleeps. Repeats. People ask if he's okay. He says yes. He's lying. The ability means he could live forever. As long as he can sleep. As long as his body can repair itself faster than life can break it. But immortality doesn't mean anything when you've lost the reason to live. Marcus discovered his body could repair itself. But only while asleep. And some damage, the kind that matters most, doesn't heal no matter how long you rest. He can fix broken bones. Heal bullet wounds. Survive being crushed under burning buildings. But he can't bring back the dead. And he can't heal the guilt of surviving when someone you loved didn't. That's the real cost of the ability. Not the injuries. Not the pain. Not the exhaustion. The cost is knowing you'll keep waking up, day after day, fully healed on the outside while something inside stays permanently broken. Marcus Kane's body repairs itself. But only while asleep. And some nights, he wishes it didn't. Because being unkillable isn't a gift when you've lost everything worth living for.